Hey guys, we're 2 weeks in already, day number 14 here. We've got another full body flexibility routine, 30 minutes. We're gonna be holding our stretches for 1 full minute today. So try to find an intensity that's about a 6 or 7 out of 10, something that's uncomfortable but holdable. We will need blocks today for some of these stretches potentially, so make sure you have them handy. And that's it. We're gonna be starting with a quick warm up, 6 minutes. We have 8 movements that we're gonna work on for 30 seconds with 15 seconds in between. So let's get ready. We've got a cat and a cow to start. So let's come down to hands and knees. And we're gonna be rounding the spine, sucking the stomach in and exhaling, and then arching and looking up. Let's begin. So breathe in as you look up. Exhale as you look down. Just get that spine warmed up. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing, but lateral side to side. So bending the spine as far as you can in one direction, looking over the shoulder, and then change, do the other direction. So lateral cat and cow, and let's begin. All right, we're gonna move into a rotation. So have a seat on the bum down to the heels. Just bring the elbows to the floor, hands up by the head. We're gonna rotate one elbow up to the sky, keeping the other one on the floor, going side to side. Let's begin. Try to open through the T-spine, so the upper part of the spine, as much as you can. You can use your bottom arm as leverage to really push open from the upper back. And if you can, try to keep the heels down. Sorry, the bum down on the heels the whole time. All right, let's bring the knees wide. We've got some hip rocking. So bring your knees wide so that your shins are at the very edge of the mat and in line with the edge of the mat. And we're gonna rock the hips forward and bring the chest up, and then sit the bum back down between the heels. So let's go ahead, rock forward and look up, drop the hips to the floor, feel the abs and hip flexor stretch, and then sit the hips back, and you'll feel the front of the hips stretching. Just gently go back and forth here. I'm just kind of moving the hips through their entire range of motion here. Just gently getting things warmed up. After this, we're going to be moving into a sprinter stretch from a kneeling position. So let's go ahead and stay in this kneeling position. We'll bring the left foot beside the left hand. And we've got our kneeling sprinter, so send the hips back for a hamstring stretch, and then forward for the back leg hip flexor stretch. And put hands on blocks if you need, like so. Here we go. So if you need the assistance and you can't reach the floor, grab your blocks, and it'll allow you to get that sprinter stretch nicely. Hands on the floor is what we're aiming for. All right, so let's stay in the same position. We're gonna take the right hand on the ground, reach the left arm up to the sky and open up through the chest. Then take that arm under the other arm and try to bring the back of the shoulder to the floor. So let's begin. Reach up and open through the chest, and then take the arm under the other arm and try to get that back of the shoulder to the floor. You'll feel the groin stretching. After this, we're going to do those same 2 movements on the other leg, and then it's time to stretch. All right, let's go ahead and switch the feet. So bring the right foot by the right hand, and we've got that kneeling sprinter now on the right leg. We use the blocks for assistance. And here we go. So you'll notice in the program so far, it's been mostly moving stretches like mobility movements or hip openers and things that involve some amount of strength. When your goal is to get more mobile or be able to move better, have better, more athletic movement, and that's time. We want to do more moving mobility. Let's go into our world's greatest. We're going to have the left hand on the floor, reach up to the sky, but this flexibility work is a good baseline. The flexibility determines your end range of motion. So let's go ahead and reach the right arm up to the sky and then bring it under. So this is going to determine on how much total range of motion can the joint do based on the length of the muscles. And the moving stuff is how much can you control? What can you actually use in a real world scenario? So we want to find out, if you have really poor flexibility, you can't touch your toes, things like that, you'll probably benefit from doing a little bit more stretching. And that's time. Okay, we're moving into a kneeling calf stretch. So let's have a knee on the right. We're going to have the left foot on the floor. I'm going to use the body weight to try and push the knee as far past the toe as you can without lifting this left heel. So just use whatever leverage you can. And you were trying to feel the stretch down here in the Achilles tendon. So use your entire body weight and try to get as much forward lean with this knee past the toe as you can without lifting the heel. So there's a lot of different ways to get the leverage. We can go like so. For some people, it's better if they come up to a knee like this. Just find what works for you and just use that body weight just as long as we're feeling that stretch in the Achilles tendon down here. That's what we're aiming for. Halfway through already. Should be starting to get pretty intense now. All right, we're going to switch on over to the other side. So right leg, find that kneeling position that works for you for leverage. We're going to lean the body weight into it and feel the Achilles tendon stretching. Here we go. Remember to keep it at about a 6 or a 7 out of 10. So intense enough that it's not comfortable. It should be uncomfortable, but holdable without fidgeting. If you are fidgeting in and out of the stretch a lot, probably just went a little bit too intense. Back off the stretch a bit. So it's halfway through. That's time. So we're going to move into a half split. Have your blocks ready just in case you need them. We're going to come to a tall kneeling position and then take the left leg forward. Try to keep your hip directly over your back knee. And from here, we're just folding the upper body forward without letting the foot move. And we're going to be in this half split position. So let's go ahead, use the blocks if you need them. But our goal eventually is to not require the blocks at all and have the hands on the floor. So focus less on getting the head down and think more about bringing the chest forward and long and pulling the leg back into the hip. So really extending that front leg. halfway through now. Okay, so let's keep the feet where they are. And now we're going to shift forward so we can stretch this back hip flexor. So use your blocks at your side to hold your torso as upright as you can. Think about trying to bring this back hip down to the floor while keeping the chest upright. So let's get into it. You're going to use the arms to pull your chest up and squeeze this back leg, the glute, forward and pull the chest up. You'll feel the stretch down the right side hip flexor. Should be starting to get very intense now. We've got the last 10 seconds. All right, and we're just going to switch sides. So let's come to our tall kneeling position. We'll bring the right leg forward so that it's straight and the hip is over top of the knee. From here, we're going to bring the chest forward and long to stretch the back of the right hamstring. Use your blocks for support if you need them. But in a perfect world, we are hands on the floor. So think about bringing the chest forward, getting the back as straight as you can, pulling the leg back into the hip joint. Try to keep your thigh muscle nice and tight, almost like you're pushing the heel forward and really extending that leg. Time. So we're going to come forward, keep the feet where they are, shift the hips forward, take hold of your blocks, you can use them for support. We're going to think about dropping the hip down to the floor while lifting the chest. So we're trying to bring the hips down, chest up. We'll feel the stretch all through this hip. Let's begin. Just 20 seconds left. And that's time. So we're going to come to a butterfly stretch. So have a seat on the bum. We'll bring the bottoms of the feet together. Sit nice and tall. If you can't sit upright in this position, if your back is rounded, you can put a block under your bum to make it a bit easier. But let's sit tall. We're going to use the legs, the outside of the legs, and pull the knees apart and get the back as flat as you can. If you're not feeling a stretch there, we can lean forward. After this, we're gonna move right into a pancake stretch. And just like with this one, if you can't sit upright, grab a block. In most of the forward folding stretches, we want to avoid excessively rounding the lower back. You'll get a lot more out of the stretches if you can keep a flat lower back. So using tools like blocks, straps, anything that's going to allow you to maintain that flat back is to your advantage. Last 10 seconds. Okay, we're gonna bring the legs wide into a pancake seat. So nice and wide as you can. And if you can't sit upright in this position, if you're hunched back, grab a block and place it under your bum, and it'll allow you to get some leverage to lean forward. Otherwise, we're on the floor, legs nice and wide, and lean forward as far as you can with a flat back. Try not to let the toes fold in, have the toes point up toward the ceiling, and let's hold. We're feeling this for the inner thighs. It's normal to feel it on the insides of the knees, the inner thighs. Halfway. This will be our last chunk of lower body, and we move to upper body next. 10 more seconds. Okay, we're gonna move into a Sphinx pose. So let's lie down on the stomach and have the elbows directly below the shoulders. And we're gonna be lifting the upper body nice and high off the ground. So try to keep the shoulders down away from the ears. So let's get into it. Shoulders down away from the ears, lift the chest high. And once you're in this position, think about pulling the rib cage forward and up and sucking in the stomach to feel a stretch in the abdomen. We're trying to bend the upper spine backward as much as possible. If you find this easy from the elbows, we make this harder by coming up onto the hands. We're trying to bend from the upper back. Keep the hips heavy into the floor. Send the hips all the way back and sit your bum down onto your heels. You can bring your knees narrow or wide, whatever you find to be most comfortable. Bring the arms long in front of you, forehead to the floor for a child's pose. Let the back recover. We're gonna move into a hurdler side stretch. So have a seat with the left leg straight out to the side and the right leg bent. Turn the torso to face your bent leg and put the left hand on the right knee. From here, we're going to sit tall and lean straight to the side. If you have troubles, if you're hunched back, you can take a block and sit on that, and that'll help you. So the focus here is on feeling this stretch through the side of the body. Don't worry about reaching the toe. Eventually you'll be able to. But the real focus here is on keeping the chest facing forward and bending the side of the body. Just switch sides. Let's have a seat with the right leg out to the side and straight, the left leg bent. I'm going to turn the torso towards the left leg. Right hand goes on the left leg. I'm going to reach the left arm up and over. So let's begin. Okay, so we've got to thread the needle for the shoulder. So come on down. We're going to lie down on the floor on your stomach and take the left arm across the body underneath. Right arm is going to reach overhead and just roll your body down. So you're trying to bring your right armpit down onto your left arm and feel the stretch through the back of the left shoulder. If you feel any tingling or numbness in the fingers, reposition your arm until you find a position that you don't get that, or just back off the stretch. We're going to switch sides. So let's now take the right arm under the left across the body. Left arm's going to go overhead, and then we're rolling the chest down on top of the other arm. Think about bringing the armpit down. And we're stretching the back of the right shoulder. Begin. All right, we're gonna move into a seated bicep stretch. So have a seat on the bum. We're gonna bring the hands behind you with the fingers pointing back. Once we're in position, let's open up through the chest and slide the bum forward until you feel a stretch at the front of the shoulders and in the biceps. This one can get pretty intense, so start small and work your way into it. If you're feeling a pinching or a sharp pain in the elbows, try bringing your hands a little bit wider or grab the ground with the fingers and see if that makes it go away. It's common. All right, we've got a seated twist. So we're gonna sit and take the right leg straight, left leg is gonna step over the right, and then turn toward your left and take the right elbow and use that as leverage to rotate the body to the left. Left hand is gonna be behind the back, so you sit tall and rotate. Look over the left shoulder. Make sure you're staying tall in this twist and keep using the arms as leverage to twist the spine. Feel the stretch in the lower back and the glute on the left side. Switch on over to the other side. So now left leg is straight. We're going to take the right foot over the left. Right hand is on the ground behind you, holding you up nice and tall. And we're going to put the left hand across, so left elbow across, sit tall and rotate. Okay, everybody, we got our last stretch. We're gonna do a seated pike. So have a seat on the bum, legs nice and straight, and we're just gonna fold forward. If you can't sit up straight in this position, block can go under the bum to help. Deep breath in and fold. Try to keep the spine nice and straight as you can get it. And let's settle into this stretch. If you're very flexible, you can also use the block around the feet for extra leverage to get further into it. All right, guys, that's it for our flexibility this week. 2 weeks down, 2 and a bit more to go. You guys are doing amazing. Let me know how progress is going down in the comments below, and we'll see you tomorrow.